And now for a special Dvar Torah just for Chutz La'aretz. This week's double parsha, Chukat Balak, is unique in that it can only occur in Chutz La'aretz and not in Israel. It will only happen when Shavuot falls out on Friday. This is because the Shabbat that follows Yom Tov in Chutz La'aretz is Yom Tov Sheni, with the second day of Yom Tov reading read in Shul. In Israel, however, it's a regular Shabbat as Yom Tov is only one day. So we will read the regular parsha, which in our case was Naso. As a result, Israel and the diaspora go out of sync, with Israel ahead a week in the readings until Chutz La'aretz catches up with the double parsha, in particular, Chukat Balak. Note too, according to the calendar, this will only occur when Yud Bet Tammuz, the 12th of Tammuz, falls out on Shabbat like this year. As mentioned by previous possible double parshas, it is not just any two parshas that can be doubled up and read together. There needs to be a reason for specifically joining the two given parshas together. So what makes our two parshas, Chukat and Balak, an attractive and compelling candidate to double up? At first glance, there doesn't seem to be much reason to join them. Besides for the Para Aduma, Chukat primarily is about the deaths of Miriam and Aaron, and passing sentence against Moshe that he will not lead Israel into the land, meaning Moshe will die in the desert along with the rest of those of Israel who were between 20 and 60 at the time of the spies. The final part of Chukat is a continuation of Israel on their way to the Promised Land. Parshat Balak is all about Balak, king of Moab, hiring Bilam to curse Israel, who then blesses them instead. While all that is true on a high level, when we zoom in, we see a more nuanced picture emerge. Yes, Israel is on the way to their own land, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction as there is stiff resistance to their advance. Some, like Edom, refused to allow Israel to pass through their land, and Israel needed to turn aside. Others, like the Amorite kings Sichon and Og, along with their respective nations, refused Israel's request to allow them passage through their land and attacked them instead. When that happened, Israel waged war against them and crushed them. Parshat Balak isn't just about Bilam failing to curse Israel. That's almost incidental to the overall story. It's all about taking Israel's approach to the land, and instead of looking at it from Israel's perspective, to see how the surrounding nations were reacting to their advance. In Parshat Balak in particular, the focus is on Balak, king of Moab, and his terror to Israel fast approaching. So why then do we join these two parshas together? In a sense, we have no choice. Due to the calendar, we need another double parsha. Of all the parshas following Shavuot and before Matot Maseh, Chukat and Balak are the two that have the most connection to each other. Parshat Balak is essentially a continuation of the topic started towards the end of Chukat, Israel's approach to the land. Chukat tells of Israel's perspective, and Balak tells of the surrounding nation's perspective. So while there is justification to join them together, it really should be the double parsha of last resort. The two parshas on the whole are more different than being the same, and as such warrant being separated. But of course, when not in Israel, there is no choice in the matter. Shabbat Shalom.